face.
There we go.
Nicely.
Yeah, but I'm advertising the stream. Shadows. Everybody loves shadows.
What is it? Welcome to Shallows. We talk about
Welcome
white
to-
privilege.
Just
Oh, I thought it was
well,
because
last week.
the D is in the middle. You know, your
Oh,
face
yeah.
is in the middle because you're a dick.
Uh,
The D.
all right, I don't have to take that.
No, you're not a dick.
Don't make me laugh too much, please.
Okay, but then we do this one, and I am in the middle, and it looks like
That's pretty great.
I can. Because it looks like they're putting their
Right,
arms
like-
on your chair.
it's my throne.
I need to figure out how the hell I came up with the number I'm trying to input.
What do you like? Discord the movie? Oh yeah, you had that one on for a while.
The hacker sim works nicely.
It's graphic, like it moves.
Yeah,
They're experimenting with movie play backgrounds.
maybe that's why you guys have it and I don't. Like it's like A/B testing stuff.
Maybe
Are you Nitro, Ken?
No, I was Nitro for like
Nitro
3 months
kid.
when I got it for free or whatever,
I'm not
because of
Nitro at all.
yeah. Hey D, how did we figure out the damage of my magic bolt? For my
It's
my
probably
gauntlets?
will plus some stuff.
Well, it's what I have right now is 25 plus 31 plus 8, which I don't know where I got those numbers from. I should have written them down somewhere.
Here, let me go to.
That's us.
Well, I know that it says will plus skill rank in melee is what I was using for rolls, but 31 is such a specific number. Like it should have, if it's multiples of something, it should have been like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, it is multiples of something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it
I brought up
7.
the cold sheet to look
Oh,
at the
oh.
ability.
31?
And I see total HP 159.
Oh,
Damage total 168.
70. Oh,
I
what's
never,
it?
I never changed it. Oh, I gotta go find something else for you. I can't look at that anymore.
Hey, Drew.
Womp. Womp.
Hello, Ivar is here.
Sorry you're having a rough day, buddy.
Power rank times 10 plus will.
Oh, so you totally understand what happened to Ivar today. Well done. Power rank 10. That's how bad it was.
It was power fucking.
Yeah,
So
you'll
Ivar
have
got.
to
What?
help me figure it out because I'm going to be leveling up my gauntlet too, so might as well figure out my other shit that I have not written down apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said, it's got to be like usually it's like will plus something else. So
Well, I
what's
wrote
your
down in
present
my-
rank?
My present rank was 8. And I did write down in the acquired powers that it's plus will per level for damage to magic bolt.
Right. So you said it was something 56, then something else.
Well, right now I have it 25 plus 31 plus 8, which doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
Yeah,
how got to
I
those
haven't-
numbers. I think
Whenever
25 is the
because
base
because you're
damage.
playing like total custom built characters. That's the thing. It's like if you don't write that down, I don't necessarily track it in my head the whole time because you guys were all custom built. So.
Wait. Are you telling me you don't have all that information memorized? I mean, it's like when my students ask me about their grades, as if I somehow have that information magically in my head because they're that important
like-
to me.
Eidetic memory.
So, I have spent because you guys played last week. I didn't play last week, but like the 2 weeks prior, we didn't play. But I've been doing a lot of work on the character sheet, and so I opened up Barrack, and I was like, "Oh, this is not. Oh, that's right. This is the Excel sheet.
Oh.
Like there's like
Oh.
green and orange and like these other colors, and I'm like, what is
No.
this?
Dee, would you
Oh,
like
yeah.
to share our experience from last weekend?
Oh, well, so we were building a rod, street level, and I would say that Bill definitely enjoyed it, although it was really funny to watch him go like, okay, so I'm building this sheet, and I'm like, share your screen. Let me see what you've got there so I can see the character sheet. Sure enough, he shows me the screen. I'm like, that doesn't look like the most recent sheet, my man. And he's like, sure it is. I'm like, no. So I post up the new one, and he's like, oh my god, this one. I was like, this was a bastard child of a character sheet by comparison. Jesus.
Yeah.
It was the Philistines.
It was the
3.5 sheet is beautiful.
So we had taken a rod from the old paper format, which was it was
Way
an experience.
worse.
Way worse. And we had ported them over to the 2.0 sheet, or is it 1.0? I don't know.
It was 2.0, and then after that we
Because
moved it to the 2.
We were eventually going to probably put them in a campaign somewhere, and then we're like, well, fuck it. We're getting a 3-level campaign going at some point, so we ported over to 3, and we're just looking at the old 2.0 sheet going, this is how I feel about the 3.5 when I look at the job that Scott did.
It's, you know what's funny is, Scott, you've been doing a great job, is you look at the 2.0, and when we move over to the new sheet, we're going to look at the 2.0 and go, how did we ever play on that? Like, how
The
did we
2.0
do
sheet
this?
is great.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean,
For its
is
time, it was
great.
good.
It totally does everything it needs to do, and the 3.0 sheet was okay. And the 3.5 sheet is inspired.
we are
Inspired.
we are visual whores.
Yeah.
And
So-
we
you guys
like
to
the
click
shiny,
on the
and we
link.
like the shiny.
Oh my
things.
god.
I need you to all click on that link.
Oh my god. Wow.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Wow.
Well, for
Back
those
it
who
up
can't
versus
see what's
dead.
going on, well, I need to delete this app. What am I looking at? Oh no. Oh my god.
You should see.
It's the
not
back of some
see-
dude's neck. It is! Oh!
Your child's eyes went.
I knew that it had to be PC though. I knew it had to be. It's just so suggestive.
There's a line that
Oh.
I draw. Like I don't go overtly pornographic ever.
No, it's always like right to the line, and you're like, oh, like that, and you're just sort of like, why?
Someone's elbow.
Yeah.
Okay, so Drew,
So
what is
Ken,
the-
I think we have to be in 2.0 sheet because the newer sheet has different calculations.
Yeah, I'm in the 2.0 sheet.
we're
So
testing. We're testing the actually 3.0, the 3.5 sheet with Agent X.
Yeah. So Agent X is going to be on the
you're
3.
running it right now?
Yeah, he's running 3.5 right now. Which is why I was like, it's like, this is going to be a very fascinating thing because I have to do some adaptations mechanically. 'Cause-
Well, what,
Not many, actually.
Bill, how are you feeling with the 3.5? Are you feeling it's flowing pretty nicely?
It's exceedingly. It's. I mean, that's the thing is, it's the way that I look at the character sheet progression. I look at the the paper ones. I went through 2 paper iterations with D. Went for his first iteration of the spreadsheet, the second one, which I thought was great, but like the 3.5, no, it's easy. It's everything he needs there, and a lot of what's getting ported over spiritually from the 3.5 is all showing up in the new CRB characters.
Oh, nice. Well, I really feel with Scott's master's degree, he makes everything a lot easier and smoother. It's just part of the degree.
it is sexy.
By the way, how was birthday weekend?
Yeah. Was that the segue from sexy?
Yeah, that's boom, right into the. Well, it just reminded me, you had birthday weekend. So,
It was a good weekend. It was cold and rainy, which is my favorite beach weather.
nice.
So, I think I told you we found this like obscure UC Santa Cruz like museum discovery center thing. That's probably a 8,000 square foot place, like real small, but it was kind of like having a private aquarium tour.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, We went to Shadowbrook, had good dinner, drank wine, went shopping, usual stuff. And then I took Kim to the Winchester Mystery House, which like blew her mind because she'd wanted to go there for like 20 plus years.
That's
And
pretty cool.
it's weird because like I grew up, it was like a field trip destination, you know.
Oh, I have many of a
it's very
great tale
fun.
at that place.
Very fun.
Good. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Happy. Welcome to the back end of life.
I don't know. I think I'm like 1/3 aged. Planning
Oh, I like it.
I'm planning to go triple digits.
Nice.
That was my goal as well. So,
Was?
well, you never know. You know, things can happen. But as of right now, the plan is to go triple and
I just
And
don't
see
want
what's
to
over
linger.
I mean, he's into his what year of teaching, and he hasn't had his scheduled heart attack yet.
no.
Right.
I just make fun of the children.
As you do.
That's what we do. So what we doing tonight? Tonight's title, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is The Accident.
So we should do
Pretty
a
apt,
recap
given how rough the start of the stream was tonight.
Yeah.
Otherwise
Do a
known as
recap for Scott.
Ivar didn't do it.
Yeah, please do. I listened to the first 15 of gameplay and then like the last 10.
Well, we also need to figure out how Barrick gets back to us and what he found.
Oh, Charles. Charles is the one that brings it back home. Because Charles left, you
Yeah.
guys took Alex.
Yeah.
Alex brings us back to the manor after we realize we shouldn't be having open public conversation about stuff, especially as wanted criminals, that we are planning our mastermind plan in public.
Yeah.
And then we go
robots,
back and
robots don't care.
Yeah, we go back to Rose Manor and we're doing
Barrick
our
has the
thing.
traps, by the way.
Yeah. So what happens is we get back to Rose Manor and we're all off doing our thing. We know there's a plan coming, and the manor went full Encanto on us and brought everyone to the foyer, in which the original outsider that the man with was it no face
the
or no
dude
eyes?
with no eyes, the
Yeah.
Murkrow.
Yeah, the
It
dude
was
with
the-
no eyes.
It was the sightless man. Yeah.
Was like hanging out in the foyer, like, "Hey, I'm here I bring you a message." And it was like, what the hell? And that's where Ivar shouted, like, "Oh shit! Barrick has the traps. We're fucked." And there was like, the chessboard has been set as it were. Anything else?
Yeah, well, Vasile obviously expressed a severe level of anger both from the intrusion and from something else that appears to be mildly personal. Plus, the name Liberator is a bit weird. Probably the hardest part about it is that he's initiating combat action, and it seems to be somewhat impulsive. So that's...
What did Barrick find at the store? We rolled for him.
Yeah, no, he
40
wanted to know what that
46.
46. He got that
That's his
46. So, yeah, we'll briefly cover that. Have you the ability to write down your new gear, sir?
Yep.
Oh, he's
And
born.
while you do that, final last thing, we're having a war with some guy named Vlad, and we have to impale him.
Is
Seems
a
legit.
tempestuous situation.
I'm gonna pick the right.
Nothing.
Let's get the right. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick one at random.
By the way, Scott, I still can't get that pun out of my head. The like and scribe.
That was good.
All right, let's get this in the proper mood here.
Yeah, I was just looking to like refill my ammo, but you know.
Well,
Came along.
you've got a lot
I
more
just
than
see-
that.
I just see you start looking at ammo, and you look up over the edge, past the ammo, and there it was. The light was just shining on it.
Hey,
Whoa,
Kobe's here!
you know,
Yay!
He's always so he's looking to refill.
We just
his
got
ammo
started,
'cause he's
too.
out of plasma, and all that. So then it's like, well, wait a second. Now I've got to take on technocracy, so I don't need all this like supernatural demon killing stuff. I need like EMP. Like he's trying to figure out what he needs for his new enemy.
So,
Doesn't want to be shut down by magic again.
What was the movie? I think it's the one with the Texas Rangers where they're hunting down Bonnie and Clyde. He walks into the gun shop and he's just like, "Take that, I'll take that, I'll take that. No, I don't need that. I'll take that." And he's just walking out with all these guns. It's like Road to Perdition or something.
D, go for it.
Just
So
laughing
no
at Kobe's
complex
response about no complex math due to beer brain. Yeah. So first and foremost, you're gonna restock on all of your supernatural killers. So you've got your hallowed points. Okay. You're gonna have 200 rounds. These are gonna be in the 200s.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So you'll have 200 rounds of 200 of the hallowed rounds. You'll have 200 of the sunflower holy rounds. You'll have 200.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything I list are gonna be, because you're gonna stock the hell up. I mean
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean you blast right through that stuff. Oh, and it's just not enough bullets. Oh my god. So let me know when you're good for the next one.
Yep. Okay. I've got hallowed, wrought iron, silver nitrate, UV, blessed
Yeah.
sunflower slugs, plasma rifle rounds, and rockets.
So the rockets,
That's a rifle round.
you've restocked your 2.75 rockets up to 50.
What? Oh. Shit.
Yeah. Well, you've been running the tab off Douglas first of all, and you haven't had a chance to actually go out and spend some of those credits. So easy.
Oh.
This reconfiguration of ordnance is going to be well with up your.
I
Like,
apologize for the moaning noise.
oh.
This is tab.
He'll pay it next month.
Robust. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Bill, for that. Yeah. Perfect.
Yes.
Yes. Awesome, Kobe, with the freaking Matrix reference. Guns. Lots of guns.
You don't have enough bullets, bitch.
Flesh. Anyway, so yeah, you're gonna be restocked the heavier ordnance, like I said, the rockets. You're gonna have a brick of 50. Okay. But you're getting them in 100 round bricks, so you've got all that way down. So you should have all those things marked up, right? Now the plasma charges, that you had to go off on a slightly different trip for, because Hammer of God deals primarily with ballistics.
Oh. Yeah, that plasma came from off-world, so.
Yeah. So the thing about that is that
go back
recharging those cells takes a little doing, which thankfully it's not an alien technology. Like some of it has a lot of similarity to it. So once they found the proper way to actually push it through, they were able to recharge those for you, which is why you were gone for so long, because you were busy working with a local contact from out of Dark Sun to obtain the necessary tech to be able to recharge those cells.
And it's like, ding! Okay, swap out 6, put another 6.
Yep.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
I'm at the laundromat, just getting my.
I was thinking
plasma
Pokemon.
done.
You're in the Pokemon Center.
Oh,
I'll
dun,
charge you.
dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
And then the last thing is that you're going to have about 30 of those 40 millimeter grenades for your Dragonfire.
Ooh. Damn.
Yeah,
How to make a girl sweat.
dude.
This is what happens when we spend Douglas's money.
Well, Barrick went Gucci, man.
Seriously, he's gonna be full Rob Liefeld pouches and duffels.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the other thing too is, like, I don't know if did you have any like harnesses, like any kind of combat harnesses where you could like hold extra mags or any of that other stuff?
I mean, I have written down Barrick has Rob Liefeld pouches. So the cable style like bandolier, like
Yeah.
he was trying to mostly go still look like a civilian. You know, like he's got the real skin
Yeah.
on one of his arms. He wears the coat and all that. So
Well, whenever you're actually going into like full combat mode, this is an option, not something you have to do, but you can go with the full mag utility belt and harness, and what that does is they have snap magazine loaders. So what happens is like so you mount the magazine in, right?
oh,
but
like
you can
Gun-Kata, wrist
like-
mounted.
Well, you could do that, but it would mean that you're a little bit restricted here on the area, but that's
Yeah,
not a big
I
deal.
wouldn't want that.
But I'm more talking about like it would be going. It's a belt, so it's wide, but it's got all of your magazines that are hooked into your belt for those pistols, right? Wide fucking herp. Yeah. So the oh my god, what's going? Hammer. And animals. So the thing about this, so here's the operation though. What can happen is that they basically have a dual function. It's a subtle magnetic that holds the magazine in place, and then there is a clip that that basically a plate that it rests on and snaps into place. And the way you work it is that you just slide it down, right? You'll just make contact with that, and you can just go down on the side, rotate it out, slide it all the way in, and it comes right off the plate. Just go like that, and so you can just go. You drop the mag, pop it out, and you don't even have to use the other hand to reload.
Oh,
That's cool.
very nice.
Very nice.
And it's got
I
extra
mean,
mag.
I've got my left hand free all the time. I only have the one pistol. So.
Yeah. Well, and that's good because you can always reach to the other side to grab a separate magazine or whatever else.
But
you
like,
can,
I could be,
you could be
grabbing
one-handing it and doing something else simultaneously. It allows you to be a little ambidextrous.
Yeah.
God
Could
damn.
have the Ripper claws out.
Exactly. So, yeah, you come walking back with all that ordnance and gear. If it was like a little lower, like in the 20th percentile, you might have found like a new weapon of sorts. But yeah, you managed to get yourself all sorted out, man.
So I'm very. That's very nice.
Yep, well enough that you can actually reload that plasma rifle. That is awesome. All right. So
I have some bookkeeping for us to take care of too.
Being?
I'm using my IP. I had 308 IP. I'm using a lot of it. So I'm just letting you know as the.
okay.
Let's see here. So my first order of business, this is what I need to talk to you about, is I'm leveling up my gauntlet from 8 to 9.
Right.
That costs 160 IP.
Jesus Christ, that's because it's an 8. It was at 8.
Yep. Then my second thing is, and so the story reason for that is that Riv's connection to the gauntlet continues to grow. So just constant use is causing it to get stronger, more powerful.
Yeah.
The next thing is my skill for melee. I'm going to rank it up from 8 to 9, which costs 40 IP. Again, the constant battles that we've had has made what used to be difficult a little bit easier for her now.
Yeah.
So let me just lock that in. My next rank up is I'm actually ranking up a core stat from 7 to 8 for reflex.
Reflex?
God
Yeah.
damn. That's gonna
You,
feel nice.
And what I wrote for this one, I actually wrote down like story like RP reasons for why these things are going up. I just haven't realized it until now. Is constant battle needing to move along with the cat-like balance that she has and frequent need to get out of the way. Riv finds herself reacting faster than she ever has before. So that's the third one, and that cost 70 IP.
Mm-hmm.
70. I'm writing this down like in my character sheet as I'm telling you, so that it's all legit. And then
Legitimate.
the last one is she's going to gain a new advantage, and this advantage is thick skin. Due to the magical force of the gauntlets and how long she's been using them, the skin is actually naturally hardened now.
She's also been like seriously like master blastered into oblivion a few times now.
And that's a level 3 skill, so it costs 30 IP.
Yeah.
I've already noticed is that Rib looks a little bit more toned.
Let's see, thick skin gives me natural armor. I wrote it down, but then I lost it.
No, still no. Knowing what that is, no.
Look, luckily I've got this handy dandy CRB that looks beautiful. Let's see, advantages. I actually go to the PDF now instead of the Word document.
Yeah, well, the Word document takes still quite a while to load up.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of.
It's Word doing its best.
It's doing its, so I gain a natural 2 armor per rank. So,
Nice.
Yeah, I'll just add that to my character sheet. My skin goes from 1 to 3 each.
Yep.
Which is better than 1.
It makes a difference.
Yeah. So the big difference, the big thing I wanted to make sure of before we got started though is, I want to make sure that my magic damage and if we're gonna get any extra powers for my gauntlet for ranking up, or if it's just more runes, more power.
Well, you'll have an open vacant slot just like always.
Well, actually, I haven't gained a new slot. The last time I gained a slot was like level 3 or 4. That's when I got the.
Is that a separate thing? Did we separate that?
I know that for a while. No, you're right. For a while, I was able to get to 11, and then it got
Yeah.
to 12. So I think it's like every other. It must be like. See, I'm at 9, so it must be like every 3 ranks.
I think that's right. Yeah, that actually sounds correct. Come to think of it. Please write that down.
Okay, I feel like the D talking head in the CRB should be just please write that down.
Yeah. If it's not written down, it didn't happen.
That's spoken like a true compliance officer.
Or
I
to
have that
Bill.
on a pillow somewhere.
Or to Bill. Can you roll 40 10s and add 50 to that? Okay. I mean, is that the day? Oh, am I re-rolling a character?
Okay, so what that means is I can't. So there's a few things here. One is I currently roll a 1d6.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm gonna roll. So now that I have 13 possible choices. How do I half
Roll
that?
Roll a D13.
Well, but I have to half it. Is that, 'cause I'm
There's a
running
solution to it because we did it whenever you were doing the 11s because we managed to figure that out.
It was like a +1 thing. We
Well-
rolled like a D10
We would
+1 or something.
D.
I can't remember the exact dice law for that because we did it even when we had the 11. We were able to do it without a problem because it was like 2d6 minus 1 or something like that, but not exactly. It was something else. It was a slick trick.
No, it was that. It was 2d6 minus 1.
Right, and then if you rolled,
Gives you a minimum of 1,
yeah,
right? Because even if you roll 2 1s, that gives you
A 1.
minus 1 gives you a 1. That's a 2d6.
So
minus
I guess
1.
we could do.
2d7 minus 1.
There's no D7s in the world.
There
There
can
is-
be.
There's
digitally speaking, it works.
Well,
Yeah.
I
I
can
want
roll a
this to be based-
D19. You can roll a D7.
Yeah, because the only way to get 14 is, technically speaking, if you roll a d8 and a d6 minus
Yeah.
1, that
You
would
could
be
do-
the.
D8, D6 minus 1.
Yep.
Well, let's make this a little bit more interesting. How about we make it so that it's a 7 is the number. So I guess it'd be 2d4 minus 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me write that down.
Do it. Okay.
What? That's like just for us. The D10 GIF. I want to get a shirt that just has a pair of D10s and says yes, they're natural.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is the same thing as before. Is I don't know what the power is until I roll it, and then you
Yep.
tell me.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Now the last thing I want to figure out is my magic bolt damage. I need to unfuck it. Because I
What's
need
your
to write
will?
down what-
Just start with that first. What's your will?
My will is 8.
Okay, that's the 8 part of that figure.
Well, it says plus will per level for damage.
Right.
So it's.
So
plus-
what's divisible
it's
by 8?
plus-
Because 25 is not, and neither is 31.
It was 7 before, or sorry, it's 9 now. So 8. Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Remember what our streamer said about don't do the big math?
That's correct. Yes.
Well, we're trying to do simple math. maybe just we could scrap the number it currently is, and you just give me a new one, and we'll just make a rule for how Magic Bolt works.
Well, in this case, all I have to do is like what? This is now rank 9, right?
It's now rank 9, yeah.
Okay, and your will is 8.
My will is 8.
Then just make it. Your will is. You just do it across, and it's literally 9 times 8.
Okay.
And that will boost you up higher, make your magic bolts a little bit more lethal, at least for 2.0.
For 2, yeah. Right now it's actually lowering its power.
Not if it was 2531 is that's like 50.
Oh, no, you're right. It's 72 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. So let me write that down. It's okay. So magic bolt damage is will plus or times.
Yeah, simple enough. Just every rank gives you another, gives you your will.
I'm good with that. 72 works. Okay. Cool. I'm all boosted up. Every one of my skills, by the way, and the attack bonuses went up when I put my reflex up by 1.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm harder to kill.
Did you get hard to
a few
kill?
different ways. No, I already have hard to kill.
I was gonna say, did you get hard to kill?
I already have that. Yeah. But I'm now harder to kill because
Harder. That's the sequel.
Harder now.
Riv 2, harder to kill.
I now have 8 IP left.
Even.
There we go.
Harder. Herdier.
Heard to her.
Herder.
I was thinking about getting acute senses instead of thick skin, but I couldn't think of a good RP reason why she'd suddenly. Oh,
The hell?
did you lose the D?
No, I'm still here.
He's there.
I'm just messaging him, and it's probably messing him up.
What the fuck?
A suspicious lack of music has started.
Yeah, that's mainly because this whole thing, like seriously, it's like I've got gremlins in my system right now. It's retarded. I've had nothing but trouble since I started this particular stream, and I'm not sure what the deal is with that. Why am I getting duplicates?
The stream is your.
Yeah.
It was like in reverb. Is
Fucking gremlins. Fucking
He's back.
gremlins.
and he's back.
Yeah.
Get out. I'm driving. I'm fucking driving. I'm driving. I'm driving.
His little figure. It's like.
Okay, now that the entire insanity of whatever the fuck that was is over and done with, I don't even know what the hell happened. It just was like, okay, I'm going to cut the stream off and go over here. I'm like, why are you opening up in Chrome? What's the deal? Jesus. I need a crew. That's all I need. I need somebody else to fix it whenever shit goes down wrong.
Oh, production team.
Yeah. I need them to fix that shit. All right. So before my little fustercluck just happened there, what were we talking about?
Nothing. We got done with Riv's leveling up spree.
Okay, perfect.
You went on a shopping spree.
All right, I think we're
Sile
ready to
was
kick off, huh?
Very angry.
He's very angry. And Barrick is back apparently. Loaded to the gills.
Yeah, well, so the thing is that you have Vasile who's storming up his steps to the second floor, going out of the way since the apparition of the sightless man has completely vanished into mist.
Oh, right. I remember I wrote this down right after we left. Riv is going to try contacting mentally Void.
Okay, we'll work with that here in a moment. Barrick, you'll be coming up. Charles is looking back at you. He's like, there seems to be some difficulties inside. I'm not sure exactly why, but the entire house is on alert. Just keep that in mind. We'll find out
Right.
more once we get inside.
just see Barrick opening the door with his guns already blazing, and everyone's staring at him.
Ding dong.
No, he
Mother.
comes in cop style. He kicks the door in. Warrant.
No, it's no knock, right? He would just go.
No, no. He'll kick the door down, going, "I heard a baby crying."
Right? He's FBI. He would have already infiltrated and planted some evidence.
You know, in a small way, I kind of see Barrick as Max Payne. Just a little bit.
Just the older, disgruntled, maybe mildly alcoholic version of Max Payne.
Is
Eric
Barrick
is
an
not
alcoholic?
alcoholic. You've
No.
seen him have like one G&T like in 2 years.
Yeah, you put sugar in your coffee.
All right. So, the limousine in which you are driving, which is also back heavy because that ordinance is not light by any measure.
My mom said it was big boned. Although Barrick is like mostly metal, so yeah.
Slowly becoming more metal every day.
The limo's like popping a wheelie.
Well, you come to a stop outside in the cul-de-sac at the front porch. Manfred is there to open the door. He looks to see you coming out. He's like, "Sir, just so you are aware, we've had a minor intrusion. I'm certain that Charles has informed you of such. We'll be able to move all of the things that you've purchased to the proper room as soon as you need it. But I believe you're going to want to meet up with the rest of them and find out what your next actionable point is going to be. I suspect you'll probably be out of the house for a while."
Well, good thing I went shopping. He's gonna make sure he's got at least his Miltech 3200 loaded.
All right, yeah. You
He
just do a
grabs
PCI
2
check.
rounds.
Then, pop the
His
mag, do
everyday
that,
carry.
check it.
His
That whole thing.
everyday carry. He opens his arm and just starts pouring bullets in.
Like here's Barrick's cat. He just fed for the first time after about a year.
Yes.
I just see Barrick like feeding bullets into his arm, and you just see his muscles getting bigger.
Oh, what if he puts bullets in his arm and then they shoot from his fingers?
No, he has a pop-up shotgun.
Yeah, he's got the super shotgun with nitro rounds, 3-inch Magnum in there. Which-
So anyway, he'll disembark.
Yeah.
And kind of approach the house cautiously.
Well, you're standing inside, and it looks like there is a just recently disassembling semicircle of individuals, including all of the demons of the house, kind of going back to their original locations. But your crew is there too, and it's clear that something definitely went down because everyone's expressions are either quizzical or mildly aggravated, a little morose perhaps. I'm not sure exactly how Riv would take it. Probably high energy is. Anytime she gets anything like that, she's kind of like boing.
She's like,
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
So he's gonna come in and he goes, so I go on one shopping trip and all hell breaks loose. And he like looks and he goes,
Just the first
Jekyll?
outsider.
Hyde, how's it going?
Yeah.
He's referring to you, X, and he calls you Hyde.
Oh, he's like, oh, clever. But this seems to be more par for the course for you lot.
Did somebody come from somewhere else and try to threaten us vaguely, or was it specific?
Did you not hear what I said?
I believe it was overt.
She's like over here on the side, like,
I believe it was overt. What did you say, Riv? An outsider? I've never
the
seen
first
them in
outsider
person.
we've encountered.
Barrick.
Yeah. Yeah.
John Cena, we'll call
You know the
See,
that was my first breakdown since joining up with you, Riv.
Ivar's sitting on the stairs having a drink, and he looks up at Barrick and says, "You don't happen to have any more of those traps, do you?"
I've got the one.
Just one. That's all we have left.
Isn't it reusable?
Is it reusable?
Well, I mean, you guys need the shots in order to make it happen, because they're
Yeah.
the 40mm grenades that have been retrofitted with that crystalline.
T-shirt cannon.
Yeah,
How many of those do we have?
I believe you had 5 somewhere in there left, something like that.
We could have used you, Barrett.
Well,
I don't believe that it probably would have done you any good, if I'm going to be honest. Apparently, it was merely a projection, which might explain the reason why Fasal's defenses weren't entirely ready for it.
and after the literal hellscape nightmare thing we went through, it was kind of tapped out.
I have no record of this particular individual, and
Wouldn't.
I have a number of different incidences that match to certain, well, signatures, I suppose you would refer to them as arcane, but it's clear to me that he possesses certain skills that make him quite potent. This is probably one of the most fortified locations in the entirety of the city. For him to be able to show up even as an apparition is somewhat troubling, but it's also strange that he would reveal his strategy so easily.
It's a trap.
And because he does not care. Overconfident.
Riv,
Like
have you
crap.
reached out to Void to see if he can help us get a read on this guy?
Was just doing that.
Roll your wheel!
Your wheel!
Let's invite another outsider into Vasal's manor. He'll take it well.
I brought my friend. Here he is.
Let's see. Will is 8. What's the target?
It's gonna be 8.
Target 8. Explode 10. Fail 1. Let's see here. So I got 3 successes and 1 fail, so it's 2.
What the hell? Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. Much appreciated there. God damn, that's weird. All right. So yeah, you're sitting there concentrating, trying to get your nerves under control. Surprisingly, you feel a secondary presence that's been growing over time. You actually have come to recognize it as the pair of gauntlets and the personality. You don't have a name for this entity yet, but it is one whole entity as opposed to 2 separate ones based on each hand. But you can feel it coinciding in your mind, and it causes all of those ruffled feathers internally and mentally to become much more relaxed. And so when that centering happens, it's almost kind of like your sense of expansion moves to the house, moves to the room, and you're kind of a little bit thrown off by the fact that the home that you're standing in, which clearly has elements of magic that are far beyond the standard. Well, my visualizer just went dead. Isn't that glorious?
Democracy's after us.
I'm telling you, man, I've got gremlins tonight. I don't know what the deal is. But yeah, so you feel that sense of expansion push out from where you're standing. You know indelibly that this house is very much alive and far more sophisticated than any of you standing inside of it. And you actually get the sense of a pulsing heartbeat in the home. And it kind of throws you off for a moment. And then you feel the call of Void in the back of your mind, basically just saying, I'll be there shortly, and that's it. And you have a sense that he'll arrive at the front gates. Not inside the property, just at the front gates.
When she reaches out, she kind of just does a kind of a jolt thing. And she's like, well, apparently he'll be here soon. We'll want to watch the front gate.
That's unsettling.
Hey, at least she doesn't do it like Third Rock from the Sun. She's like, incoming message from the big giant head.
Holy shit. Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
So, where did all these other people come from? Is Isle having visitors?
You're referring to all of the house staff
Yeah.
walking back?
Yeah, and the weird skin gargoyle.
Well,
creature.
the creepiest one happens to have been back of the house under the colonnade-style balcony leading to the second floor, with its eyes very much coal red, and it's just the shadow kind of drapes over it like it was almost liquid. but it stands as a hulking 9.5-foot tall creature. You can see wings or part of them from the corner where it's peeking out. The horns, the rest of it, no demon that you have ever seen on this campus, period. It's the first time you've ever seen it, and it is strong. It actually makes the cult, from how his presence worked, makes the cult feel like he was not quite the same level there. Like you're seeing something that actually trumps that kind of presence of power.
Like a fun-sized Chernobog. Right then. Well, I have managed to get myself restocked, so whatever we're facing, hopefully I won't have a panic attack again and stare off into the nothingness when the eyeless creature comes back after us.
Yeah, that's a good name for him. Eyeless.
All right, Riv, you happen
Riv
to
actually said
notice
that out loud.
a strange shift in reality towards the front gates. As you guys are in the foyer, you can actually see through the glass of the doors out into that cul-de-sac, and just beyond that, from the fountain and the rest of it, you see movement in the slit of visibility between fountain and the front gates.
And
How does Void appear to us? Like, what is Void's look?
He's got short hair. It's always kind of properly cut with the left part. He's not terribly tall, somewhere close to 5'7", 5'8". Usually wears a three-quarter length black jacket, and it's like always pressed. It looks quite orderly. He's wearing a vest, white shirt, no tie. Yeah, kind of like that, as a matter of fact.
That's who I always picture him as.
Ah,
Not inaccurate. I wasn't thinking about him, but that's pretty fucking close.
Mads.
why do I recognize that face?
He's everywhere, dude. He was in James
Hannibal?
Bond. He was in Star Wars, Hannibal. He's all over the place.
What's this from?
That's a different person?
Yeah.
That's who I
That's
imagine him as.
Crispin Glover?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
the
always
first
imagined-
one that Drew posted, what movie is that from?
That's from Bond. That's from
Casino Royale.
Gotcha.
yeah, Casino Royale.
Oh, such a good movie.
So once Riv sees Void, she's gonna open up she's gonna be like, well, kind of light up, because she doesn't. I think the connection between her and Void is like loosening any of the preconceived like worries that she should have about an outsider.
Right.
So she opens the door up and she's like, Void, I come on in. I gave you permission. Come on in. Like she just says it like that.
You're
Hey,
basically
why
doing
don't you
that, like
move on
ushering
in?
him through.
Yeah.
God.
Just move on in. I got a room for you right down here.
Guys, this isn't even
No
our
one's gonna
house.
notice.
Agent X just looks at Jekyll. I believe this is what happens to them every time.
They are significantly unorthodox.
Not wrong.
Statistically, they should be dead.
Agreed.
Gosh.
Which is why it is a phenomenon that you're willing to study, from what I understand.
I am curious as to what the deviants will do.
X, for the record, I have already died twice.
And we've
Well.
lost 2 of our members too.
Ivar just keeps drinking, going, Ivar's not experiment. Ivar.
Ivar's definitely an experiment, but
I mean,
of his own doing.
whatever chemical, I would say, monstrosity that lives within his liver.
It's, you know how formaldehyde can be used to preserve creatures.
Yes. And it still lives.
Ivar's liver is okay. Here, look. And he points to his liver, and you just see this big bulge where his liver is.
My liver twice the size of yours. It's growing.
And you see a hand come out, just like pressed against the flesh, and you hear a small, Daddy.
This isn't cold.
Ivar's tapeworm has grown arms, and
Oh God.
Chance.
God, an alcohol tapeworm. Oh man, imagine that.
Theoretically, Ivar could reality shift his own liver back to normal.
As long as he sustained the concentration on it, yeah.
The sudden DTs would be rough. All right, so
Riv does very, very rash, like inviting paracausal beings into our
Yeah.
house.
Well, you're like going out into the court. You're going out into that cul-de-sac. You're basically at a rush. Like you're basically like you're a girl all over again, waiting for a sleepover, and your friend just showed up. That kind of thing.
Here's where
That's
the secret key is hidden. Don't tell anyone.
yeah, that. Manfred appears at the gates between you
Yeah.
and Void. He just like because he's got control of the grounds. He's just sort of like, if you don't mind. He looks back. Void, of course, just nods his head. I don't mean to do any trouble here.
Are you gonna frisk him? It's like an extraplanar being.
He's like, oh my god.
That's in character. That he's gonna like he's yeah.
Well, Manfred apparently has the keys to the house, so to speak. So he's not just going to. I'm trying to figure out why Kobe feels attacked.
I think because you said a slumber party.
Oh well, I mean that's the reaction. Wait until you see Riv in action, man. It's like that all the time.
Dance fighting.
We're quite the hodgepodge of messed up here.
Wow. That is some wow. I don't even know what I'm looking at there. That's awful looking by itself. What is that?
What are you looking at?
the emotes in
You can see the
in
emote?
chat, yeah.
I thought you could only see
You
the
just
text.
see the text. You could just see the text.
No, that's the cool thing about Restream is it lets me see all that stuff come through.
So anyway, we've got a Void at the gates.
Yeah, and he's
Manfred.
reassuring Manfred that he doesn't mean any harm to anyone here. Then Manfred is kind of
You can vouch for Void.
Oh yeah, me and Void, we go way back. That's what she says.
Void has been instrumental in helping us to dispatch another outsider.
And Agent X has just interject. He just steps forward very quietly and goes, and statistically, even though they are, I don't know the words, they have proven useful. They may have something to this. They've been nothing but honest.
yeah. Void just waits for a moment. Manfred's like, well then, it seems that everyone here seems to agree that you're actually going to be of
He's
no
all
threat.
right.
As I said. You may enter then. The gates come
I
open of their
forget
own
that
accord.
X knows them. I forget that X knows Visile and all that. I'm like, how can we let Agent X in here? But yeah, we were sent to him from Visile.
Vasile had a guy. His guy happened
Got
to
a
be
guy.
Agent X. Agent X needed some guys, and Vasile had some guys, and they were us. And so a bunch of guys have gotten together to take care of some stuff.
Just a bunch of guys doing guy stuff.
Fight the power.
Oh, that was a It's Always Sunny reference.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Void able to come in?
Yep, he comes walking inside. Manfred waves him in as if he were any other guest, being extremely polite. Yeah. Well, and Void at this point just kind of shudders a little bit. He's like, this place is different. Why is it that you have called me? He looks over to Riv.
She kind of looks around and she's like, well, one of your buddies showed up here. For the lack of a better word, the eyeless one.
Ah.
Bob.
Bob. Is that what you said?
So that's what we can't
That's our
keep
great-
calling every outsider Bob.
It's your greatest villain. Bob.
Bob is what Ivar calls Void. So we can't keep calling the outsiders Bob. It feels racist somehow. Speciesist.
Yeah, he's just sort of like... He looks around at this point, just kind of sensing the area, and he's like, I do not believe that he was here in reality. Zixis and
What do you
Tillis.
mean?
Ally himself with Vlad.
Who's Vlad?
Oh, right.
Zixus Antilles would have been far more destructive in his very presence if he were here.
Is that the eyeless one?
He does choose the form of one who has no eyes, yes.
Can you say that name again?
What do you mean his own reality?
Zixus Antilles.
At this point, Ivar has been listening, and he gets up and he just walks right over, and he's like, "What
In
do
reality,
you
that's
mean
my deal.
by his reality?"
Agents of Chaos. A fundamental disruption, destruction, and transformation. You've already managed to ascertain exactly what they're capable of doing, and
Very much so.
the energy in which they harness. Not separate per se, but very distant. They are the reasons why so many things can never properly function, and their very presence causes madness of all sorts. I've been able to somewhat organize myself so as not to create the same effect, but it's been difficult.
Ivar wants to do a quick occult thought in his head. And what he's trying to figure out is if these outsiders are playing with chaos and bringing chaos into our reality, can we shut the stream off? Is it a possibility? Is this something that he, in many ways, would be familiar, being Ivar, who basically taps into other realities to make his La La Land? 27 roll.
Yeah, well, so you know for a fact that this is not something that you can just. It's not like a stream or a river with a centralized location. Each independent variant of these outsiders has their own connection to whatever it is they are, and they disrupt things in their own way. Now, all of that being said, you've managed to trap very powerful ones. Avrothral, in particular, was one of the ones that. He was one of their captains, and he was laying siege to all of Purgatory, and you managed to take him down.
Nice.
So in a sense, are their powers a different manifestation, but very similar to what Ivar's powers are?
You could probably say that your power, which is sort of the oversized or the aggrandized version of true creation, and then it vanishes back into its original state once you leave the area.
Gotcha.
But you could basically say it's like an opposite. They basically generate a sense of natural entropy that causes things to fall apart.
Got it. So Ivar, as he like barges in, interrupts this, asks this question, gets the answer, and he gets this blank stare. And then he turns over and goes, "Colt, what do you think?" And he's just staring at nothing.
And what's responding to him is his manifestation of the cult, which is the bastard. So he's seeing an imaginary friend, the bastard. The bastard looks up and says, "I don't know. I'm fucking dead."
Proper.
And welcome to Ivar's hallucinations.
Oh, that's right. I was actually rolling on something since you brought that up.
Am I your hallucination then?
Are we doing this shit again?
We're bringing the cult back.
We're bringing the cult back as Ivar's hallucinations. We can do this. Okay. I mean, and then all of a sudden you just see your hallucination shift, and then it's just
fucking Miller.
It's the cult or John, and he's just looking and says, "I mean, I'd have the answer, but we're dead now. I can't really answer that. Figure it out."
Well, in either case,
and scene with Ivar. Ivar's now just off somewhere else.
Beep-doop. Yeah. Well, Jekyll's is kind of like monitoring everything from a slight distance. He's kind of halfway between everyone in the house, kind of observing everything, trying to keep an eyeball on the change of situation. What do you suspect? He speaks from behind. What do you suspect that Vasile's going to have everyone go and attack a larger or main target sometime in the near future? What do you think he intends for us to do? He didn't really give Orders? He just said to be prepared. In a sense.
My thought is he's going to use this to strike his enemies.
I would have to agree, but
Favors to build favor. I believe the currency of violence.
in most cases... Well then, I suspect that we should probably find ourselves being prepared. He walks over. Agent Barrick, retired. May I help you with some of your ordnance?
In what way?
I can help you get it organized. Make sure all magazines are properly set. Make sure to clear any breaches. Clean your weapons. Is there anything you might need?
You don't clean another man's weapons.
And a surprisingly weird way of subtle humor is like, I'm very sanitary.
I mean, sure.
Wonderful.
You know what? Yes, there's several large duffel bags from the Hammer of God, and we can get everything organized. That
You're
would be
muted,
great.
Bill, you're muted. Whatever you're saying.
Agent Axe just looks at this blankly and goes, he's quite a droid at putting it all in.
I am. I just need to be useful, and I tend to get bored rather often if I don't have something to do. I don't sleep. So, I appreciate the task.
Well, I haven't had an intern in a while, but
I have never been an intern.
well, Vasile doesn't drink coffee. I haven't had any in about 2 weeks. Turns out the caffeine addiction has come back, and I've basically been in a pounding headache since we returned from the hellscape. So, if you want to organize guns, great, I can go on a coffee run. If you'd like to go on a coffee run, great, I can organize guns. Either way, they all need to get sorted out.
I can handle that. More than happy to. Thank you. And goes back and picks up said duffel bags, which were kind of in the entryway there. He picks up the duffel bags, moves into the dining room. The table's quite large. He goes through the business of getting a large, sort of quilted comforter, puts it over the end, starts laying everything out, and he begins to disassemble, clean, manage, load, all that stuff. It would have taken you probably a while. His expediency and efficiency is pretty amazing, but being fully robotic versus mostly human cybernetic does have its advantage in this case.
Is it that weird unnatural speed where it's like...
Kind of, yeah. It's the fact that he can sit there and load in perfect formation, because he can pull and do that, and because you've got the bricks, and he's just able to load rounds in at rapid speed and make sure that they're all set.
Huh. Could have used you back in the Force. Although I didn't care that much back then.
One of my absolute favorite scenes from Forrest Gump is when he's putting the things back together, and the guy's like, "God damn, why are you so good at this?"
Yeah.
God damn genius, Gump.
That's
because he's got nothing else on his brain, man.
Yeah.
He's got nothing else. He's just doing that. He's like, okay, do this thing, okay.
He's just but it's funny because he has to sound mean about it.
Yeah.
Why did you do that, Gump?
Because
you told me to.
That's the best answer you could have said.
Yeah, so Barrick is quite happy with this, and then he's gonna ask about coffee.
Yep. Which is no
Douglas
problem.
Kept him in good, blue bottle.
Yeah. Well, in this case, all you have to do is ask for Manfred, who appears rather immediately, and then you just let him know it's like, hey, I'm looking to get some coffee. I haven't had any in a while. I've got a killer headache. He's like, not a problem at all. And of course, he vanishes once again, gives you information before doing so that it will be just a few moments. Now, he does it the old-fashioned way. It's not just the fact that you're getting really expensive coffee. It's the kind where you put it into the filter, hard pack it down, You have the proper temperature. You pour it through in this really tight thing, and it's this immaculate experience. Of course, he asks you for cream, the rest of it. He's got to make sure he's on top of everything. Demons of Envy, am I right? So the most so you're having probably the best cup of coffee you've ever had. Like, just sweet enough, not over the top, a little bit of cream in there to give it that smoothness, and the bitterness is basically kept really far down, and a hint of cinnamon. So,
and he's just gonna like casually pour some charcoal into it.
You're gonna make him spit up. Like,
Did I get him?
almost. My freaking keyboard's right here. Do you have any idea how paranoid I am? I love this thing.
Yes, he knows.
it's kind of a goal of ours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Phil and I've been playing this game for 20 years.
Yeah, you guys almost had me a couple weeks ago.
So
Nice.
So then with is it Jekyll or Jekyll's?
It's Jekyll.
For Jim.
Singular.
Jekyll.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Jekylls.
when Jekyll gets all that stuff done, and if he's looking for something else to do, Barrick will try to explain to him. He's like, I'm sure you've met Firestorm to a certain extent.
We have had several conversations. Yes.
Where we also have another AI, Alfred, and he kind of, refers to the other duffel bag full of server parts.
Yeah.
Didn't Alfred get hooked up?
They're in the middle. They're in the process of getting her linked up. Yeah, because there was Barrick wasn't present for that, but Alfred is being integrated. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So it even makes more sense that Barrick doesn't know. So
yeah,
he's gonna say, so Alfred was also instrumental in helping to get everything going and critical to our success. If there's any way you could help with that, because I don't understand all this input-output packets, and
I do believe that her integration is actually in progress and that they're almost finished with it. Yes.
I should go shopping more often.
I should have this ready in pretty much no time. Approximately 35 more minutes, and I should have everything cleaned and prepped.
And probably talking this whole time while doing yeah.
And he can keep conversation. He's rather pleasant, somewhat sociable,
Right.
a little bit naive sounding. So his voice and demeanor are very much unthreatening compared to his actual size and construction.
Right.
So,
Well,
coffee porn.
this is
Well, you
slightly
described it
confusing.
so well. You want me to go get some coffee and it's late at night.
Well,
I've got my
leave a man to his
overnight cold
vices,
press going. That's my
How much
nightly
cinnamon
ritual.
should you add to it to make it give that je ne sais quoi?
Well, in this case, you don't want to use powdered cinnamon. You're going to want to actually soak a cinnamon stick in the cup.
Cinnamon stick,
Just-
baby.
You just pop it in there. You let the natural oil seep in. If it's a single cup, you just leave it in there for as long as to taste. If you're doing a whole pot, you just throw it in the bottom of the pot. And if you're kind of like me, I just like the cinnamon cuts the bitter. It's just really, really nice.
So does cold, and that cold
Wait,
brew
wait,
that
wait.
Ken got me
Quick,
is
Yeah.
quick segment.
amazing.
You use the cinnamon to cut the bitterness of black coffee,
Yeah.
and that's it.
You can add cream to it, like it gives that creamy flavor. But honestly, if you use black coffee,
but-
throw in a cinnamon stick, the bitter just disappears. It's really amazing.
'Cause
I like a
I'm
little
in
the
I'm-
teensiest pinch of salt in mine too, in the grounds.
Okay, I'm on no sugar and cream right now, and so I've been holding off on coffee, but that sounds delicious.
It's
I'm
really
gonna do it
good.
tomorrow morning.
It's really good. You can't use the powdered stuff; it'll clog that filter, and you'll overflow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We only use stick in my house.
Oh yeah,
Let's
cinnamon and
do
Okay.
cinnamon and lattes. Yes, indeed, Kofi. Yes, indeed. All right, so
Yeah.
the
Barrick's just like having a great day. He got all his guns. He's got nice coffee. Someone else is doing his, work.
weapon and PCI
like-
prep. Yeah.
Shit. All right. Man's got time to think.
Man's
Sure
then
enough.
Then you see that he kind of disassociates a little bit. He goes, nope, gotta keep busy. Okay.
So there's going to be some time that passes. You know, you get the prep up, everything else goes like that. It's still relatively, if I'm not mistaken, it was early evening. Early to late evening, yeah. And when you guys were finally able to get everything pushed up, because you guys were out for that time, and Barrick was out the entire day, and he came back in the evening, yeah. So
He walks by the other munition shop with the bags and was like, "You see this? Big mistake." This is Pretty Woman moment.
Can we presume, is there time enough for Ivar to kind of like, snap out of whatever he was doing and just like turn and beeline for the library, where he is still trying to figure out how to take that ring that he got from Douglas that tied to reality?
Yeah.
And he had the idea of trying to work on that summoning spell to be able to, one, get his sword back, and two, to figure out if he could summon Copperfield. Oh yeah, you forgot about that.
Why-
Ivar's trying to summon Copperfield.
Just bring the final boss to us.
What?
It's like in
He's been
what was that game?
he's been digging at this principle for a while now.
You Chrono Trigger, you're gonna click the fucking bucket?
Yeah.
Just like, let's go. Let's go.
Click the bucket.
What a fucking reference! Oh my
That's a
god.
throwback, dude.
It's exactly what
but,
it is.
but I know that's what he's thinking, because
I always click the bucket.
Just don't fuck the
then
bucket.
you die.
So, yes, just go ahead and make one occult and do, yeah, you're gonna have to do one, at least, let's make it 3 occult rolls, because I was thinking about your reality shift, but I forgot. What you're asking to do is actually in the, typical arcane area, instead of just being manifest whatever I want within 250 feet.
Wow, we went with a 29, epic fail, and a 2. I mean, a 22.
Yeah. So you haven't quite... Jesus. So you haven't quite sorted out exactly how to do it, but you are edging a lot closer to what you theorize is an accurate point. And I have to disable my camera for just a moment. But we're still rocking it out. So, the main thing is that we have like so we have a few hours that we're going to be doing this stuff, and then you'll get orders from Vasile rather promptly, because he'll be starting to maneuver troops and do things that he needs to do in order to start basically pressing against all of the Zamisi and the rest of it. I wish I could see what was going on right now.
It's missed me last week.
Hey. I needed a short break, okay? Okay? Coffee is something that runs straight through me. Shush.
You know what? The fact that you stayed live.
Yep.
That's all that matters.
Hey, it's
Hey.
just like the Supreme Court.
Tinkle, tinkle.
Oh, did they ever find out which justice it was that was on the can while they were in the COVID
What?
hearings? You didn't know about this? The Supreme Court was doing a
No.
live session during COVID, and they were doing radio, and one of the justices was on the can because all of a sudden you hear a toilet get flushed.
All right.
Alright, so Ivar's looking up summoning spells.
Now he's getting closer to his objective, but and still the topic. Do we want to talk about my current bowel movements? Is that what we want to be doing? Is that good? The rest of this session's going to be it'll be about technique.
Let's let this not go down the toilet, okay? Oh, I'm flushed.
let's wipe this up and get going. All right.
Oh my god.
All I did was walk into the bathroom and then mute. Y'all are so judgmental.
We didn't judge. It's just really funny.
There was no.
Oh, I know.
There was
I'm fucking around. If
We understand.
Negative 50 IP.
Your IP has been wiped.
leave it to this evening. Leave it this way, of course. How else could it go?
What have I walked into?
Yeah,
well,
that's why I'm laughing.
Well, let's get back to train of thought before we lose.
It's been a long week.
Yeah. Just toilet humor. Wonder bar.
Oh, my cheeks hurt. Oh. Oh.
All right. Let's see if we can push it back into a different direction here. Shut up, Bill. Shut up. So. And now I can't take my eyes off chat. I'm just like, what else are people saying? It's funny. All right. The main premise here is that everybody's going to be pretty much prepped and ready. Vasile will start issuing out his orders, and it looks like he's made contact with Dravis in particular. It looks like him and Richard have been making some pretty good progress on certain areas down in the Daedalus Belt, but the problem is it leaves a little bit of the West Coast exposed because the primary number of all of Vlad's troops coming in are going to be from the West Coast in some capacity. And we're crunching somewhere around 1 a.m. or so it's about high time to get going. And obviously he'll have AVs. Charles will be taking everyone where he needs to go. And the house has calmed down in its timber because there isn't that same sense of vibration or life or anything else there's just nothing that's approximately like you're not getting that same sense of urgency that's coming from all around you. It seems to have calmed down. So whatever high alert was running has gone off since the initial contact. And sure enough, Vasile has started orchestrating certain calls. He's even pushing some of the werewolf clans to try and get them to cooperate in a more fierce way, offering them up some certain things. Now, this is kind of coming to you guys secondhand. Mist, his wife, is keeping everyone apprised, since Vasile is now working very heavily with logistics, organizing various troops and all of his allies to try and start reinforcing whatever boundaries he's laid out inside of Night City further south.
Wait, werewolves are real?
Would you get hit in the head again, Barrick?
Call back. When you're saying West Coast, you mean...
Oh, not West
like
Coast, East Coast.
California?
That was a slip.
Okay.
That was a slip.
Whew. I was like, oh man, we're gonna leave Night City.
Yeah,
Not
no, it's
prepared.
West Coast werewolves.
West Coast.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So, yeah. Right now, it's basically set up that way. So let's go ahead and... Barrick, you're obviously armed to the teeth. Any prep for anyone else? I know the Agent X has pretty much got all of his tools of the trade on hand. Ivar, other than your distractions, you're going to basically have everything you need. Yes? Did you say anything?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is Ivar needing anything?
Yeah, does he need to do anything, or is he good to go? He'll probably be...
All Ivar's doing is like he's like mumbling to himself, and whenever you guys find him in the library, he's got a couple dolls sitting there, and it looks like he's having a conversation with them. And he's just talking about, I have to get it to work. This is going to work. And he's like, don't talk to me that way. And then he looks over. He goes, shut up, bastard. And you almost have to like.
If you did it that way, but that's John's thing.
Yeah, fuck John. And that's it. And you're almost like, have to drag him out of there because Ivar is really intent on getting this figured out. Like it's there, but he eventually comes begrudgingly, but just he's a little off.
Okay. Well, at this point, as much coordinating as can happen at this time it has been done, and you're going to be leaving the manor forthwith. Alex will be more or less transporting. He won't be transporting anyone, but he'll be taking certain elements of munitions, etc. It looks like he'll be stockpiling something that he's calling, he's calling it a war chest. But he's going to be sort of throwing things into the AV so that you guys have backup. And he's like, yeah, not just sandwiches this time. Figured I might actually be a little bit more proactive.
It's a sandwich of death.
But, yeah, so he's got the larger AV. He's going to rack and stack that. You guys are with Charles, and you'll be able to head that way. This time you'll be taking the AV from Vasile's house instead of the limousine.
How does Jekyll fit in the AV?
He won't. He'll have to try and find a
Put him
separate...
on top.
Yeah.
Foot ornament?
No, he'll have to move in a different way. He'll have to take a either a larger form of transportation, or he'll have to run the whole way there.
Night City Metro.
Yeah, something like that, which he can do. And he's somewhat. It's weird. He's quasi familiar, but High Dynamite doesn't have the ability to track him, so he's very good about finding the right routes because he can't quite take the public transport yet. So the crucible here is that you guys are going to be heading east coast. You're going to be heading about probably about 100 miles, 120 miles south and east.
Why are we being deployed though? Are we? I know we said that a bunch of troops.
Basically, you're going to
Vlad's
go out and start seeking any kind of Zamisi nests that are going to be on the eastern coastline, going through and finding and distributing or like removing them if you can find any nests. Now the problem is if you recall, having been in a fight with them before, that they have the ability to transmogrify their own bodies, but this has somehow or another been radically enhanced through whatever ally ship they have with now his name being Zixus Antilles. And because of that
one like gigantic beast mode one.
Yes, which, as you guys are going to be given to some research on that, because, again, Mist kind of relaying this down so that you guys are more effective, that was a natural ability that Vlad's troops, that only certain ones were capable of doing for a time. However, this has exploded into a vastly more popular and a vastly more simplified and easy method of combat, which is costing them, because that form in particular can actually go against werewolves with much higher rates of success. But even worse, because of the fact that they're tweaked with this chaotic energy of the outsiders, it makes it even more detrimental. So it's not just boosting them up, it's making them really presentable as threats. And the conflicts are becoming even more bloody as time goes on. So he's wanting to stop the influx. Basically, cut them off at the coastline, prevent them from being able to make any further access to the rest of Night City before they can disseminate.
So you guys had mentioned, this is like out of character, you guys had mentioned Vlad is a central figure now in our struggles. In the ride over, can someone kind of bring Barrack up to speed on what you guys discovered with that?
We're going to
They
war
haven't already.
We're just going to war. It's a favor we've been asked to do.
Well, yeah, and
We need to have Vlad.
It also
No.
frees up, out of character. It also frees up Vasile's forces so that he can help us on the last push, because we still need everything to throw at whoever's left.
Oh, other thing, an unrelated, out of character. There is possibility that Copperfield may have started to breach or found his way back.
Oh, I figured that was gonna. The visualizer's being creepy. You mentioned Copperfield and bam, it switched.
yeah.
There he is.
So you're trying to find out, like, you're trying to find out instinctually or empathically whether or not the Copperfield is making headway. Is that what you're trying to do?
Ivar's just trying to figure out. He just wants to have a conversation with him.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like the way that you were talking about it, it's almost like are you trying to discover if he's made more progress since last you thought about it?
No.
Okay.
Ivar, other than the last time we talked about it before all this went on, like Ivar was like, "Huh, I wonder if I could talk to him. He never wants to talk to me." And so that's in between the go get the sword, and it's a good idea to summon our arch enemy. Like, this is Ivar's brain is not fully thinking right now. But as for anything in the thing, he's just kind of updating Barrack on the situation with Vlad that's constantly filled with slurring and a little too much alcohol.
So
the
the
Misi thing was not a one and done. That is.
No, apparently it was an attribute. Yeah, and
Okay.
of course, Firestorm is going to be cooperating on this as you guys are moving to your destination. But he's like, yes, there seems to be a rather cooperative level of incidences starting to emerge both in scream sheets and everywhere else. It's being blotted out. It looks like those who are actually monitoring and censoring the link are making certain that none of this really gets out or is, well, plausible. They're trying to keep a lid on it as best they can. I suspect that this is probably technocratic in origin. They want to maintain the status quo with consciousness and don't really like the idea that people could become wise to the fact that there is a lot more going on most of the time. As the AV is, going over the top of these buildings at rapid speeds.
Well, should we just blow it open and let the world know?
You'd be hard-pressed to do that, Ivar. Mainly because the technocracy is still a force to be reckoned with, and honestly, they have really rampant and very good shutdown campaigns that they employ even now.
Yes, they really keep trying to shut Ivar down. For some reason, they don't like me. I don't understand why they don't like Ivar.
Because you're
Ivar,
deviant.
Yes.
Do you remember when Colt was still with us and we went and fought against the gangers and the police that had been taken over?
We're always
And
fighting somebody.
the skin dogs and the gigantic spider demon and all of the normies who were out there and had psychotic episodes. If we blow this wide
And
open,
Ivar,
we
you
could
just
cause
see
a
like
much bigger problem.
he's just staring at Barrack. Like there's a blank stare, and then he just looks over and goes, "What, do you want a drink? Bastard, here you go. I got a drink for you." And he pours a drink and he drinks one, and then he drinks another one for Ivar. And
As Ivar's imaginary friend just tries to reach for the glass and goes, "God damn it, that's unfair." It just goes straight through the glass.
I don't know why I bother.
why bother with what?
I just would say I recommend against blowing this wide open to the general populace.
People are stupid.
And
Or-
it could.
I know. I
What's
heard
the-
that Barrack
what's the
doesn't
quote
know about
from,
werewolves.
Person is smart, people are stupid, panicky,
That's the one.
dumb.
Yeah.
It could
Well-
it could shut down infrastructure of an already fragile system.
Well, let's just see where this goes. This couldn't get any worse.
All right.
Well, the rest of the ride doesn't take long, but it feels like forever in some cases. You're pondering, each one of you in your own way. Probably Agent X and Jekyll, who's not here, but being the most stabilized for the most part as you're moving along. When you finally touch down, for the most part, the eastern coastline isn't something that you normally go to that often, mainly because of the fact that there are usually heavy drone patrols that come out that way due to lots of moving cargo, etc. So the the biggest thing that, like the beaches are fine, but a lot of the water here is untenable for the most part. And you've got the larger vessels that are always pulling in and making a haul. And it's just, it's just not a place that you'd want to go and see, especially with the present condition and the pollution and the rest of it. So, but out you are. Whenever the AV finally touches down, you're at a series of what looks to be multiple docks and variant. They all stretch out across as far as the eye can see from going north to south. From that point, you have several ships that are currently in dock. Some of these docks are actually pushed out pretty far so they can, haul more. There is heavier equipment that are all shut down, unmoving. Some of them are, but not all of them, as there is like night work to be done and there's trucks to be loaded and so on. So there's still functionality happening around here. And with everybody and whoever, and so I believe, Barrick, you've got something akin to a smart brace, or you've got the Times Marquee in your head. That's right.
I've got the Times Square marquee.
Yep. So, and Ken pulling out all the stops, man. This is cool. Love meeting new people. I'm watching this, not typing much, but this is awesome to see.
Well,
You're telling the stories, man.
Yep.
Agent X and Barrick are like, hey,
Typing.
wait, we can talk in our network tight beam to each other without making noise.
Yep.
Oh, this is a game changer. And we're just looking as we're like making eyes at each other.
All right.
Barrick misses Colt.
So Jekyll is en route, first and foremost. He's going to be behind because he's not as fast as the AVs can go,
Gigantic
but he'll be there.
gorilla robot flying through the sky.
Did you ever find that picture, by the way? I wanted to take a screen capture and put it in my notes.
Oh, I did actually find my...
It was an awesome, terrifying picture.
Yeah, let me grab it.
Yeah. Oh,
It was like there's like Mojo and Mojo 2. It's like Mojo.
You could get a $45 Xbox Series X wireless controller from Costco. Good price.
Ooh.
I mean, if I had an Xbox. Ooh.
Well, no, the Xbox controllers are amazing for just in general.
Yeah, they can be plugged into Windows systems and they're automatically compatible. Makes them nice.
If I had a Windows system.
Yeah, I know.
Whew.
I realized.
Yeah, there you go. Fair enough.
Eric is not backwards compatible.
Only forwards compatible. Oh.
Giggity.
I don't know what any of that means.
You know what? Innuendo.
I still think my favorite one, I haven't even seen the episode, is when in Family Guy with Quagmire, like with the little thought bubble, like pulling out little beads. And it's like,
Yeah,
I know
we know what's
is.
going
The
on.
kids don't know what's going on, but you know what's going on. It's just incredible. Sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack you, but I want to get that picture locked in my skull of what Jekyll looks like and why we're not freaking out.
Yeah, I'm going to pop it into the OCC chat so everybody can see it.
Sweet.
That go for everybody.
Buddy. Uh-huh.
Okay, so I'm definitely gonna get that cyberpunk book alley thing
Oh yeah?
when
That's
that
awesome.
Kickstarter launches. I have the Wizard Alley that's Harry Potter, so I will definitely be getting another one that's cyberpunk.
Look at that glorious
Yeah.
golden god.
Yep.
Terrifying to see that just swinging power line to power line as I imagine flying through Night City.
Yeah, that's Jekyll
And
for
what's
you.
the scale? You say he's like 8 feet tall or something?
Yeah, he's like
7 feet
7.5 to 8 feet tall. I'll just check my original sheet here. He's 6. Oh, so he's not huge, but the antennae and the rest of those things hanging off his
Yeah.
back push him up to about that 7.5 foot range.
This makes him difficult to fit in a car.
Yeah, he's not going to be.
Still giant.
Yeah. So. Cool. All right. So. Yeah, so you guys are out there, you're smelling the acrid air, there's kind of like, you can hear the lapping waves up against that shoreline, and again, it's somewhat unfamiliar because most people usually don't travel this far east to get to the coastline, there's really nothing to see, and for the most part, it's either crime and criminality, or you're dealing with dock workers, or very disgruntled cyborgs, who happen to be, heavy on the work side of this. Yeah, it's kind of up to you guys at this point, for the most part. Firestorm will patch into comms. Everybody will have those still from the working with Douglas, but they are easily retrofitted since you guys just have to change frequencies in order for things to work properly. And you still have the encrypted channels, so you don't have to worry about people just barging right into the middle of it. With that being said, Firestorm kicks in. He's like, test, is this working?
We can hear you.
Oh,
5x5.
excellent.
Roger.
Nobody says
Yeah.
that.
Agent X is just kind of limbering up his systems, so he's employing his telescopic vision and enhanced audio. And he's just going full sensor sweep, motion sensors, everything.
Well, so given the fact that I actually have, clearance due to your vouching for me as well, it looks like Mazal has got a lot of intelligence based on where he thinks all this is going to be going. It's like we have several warehouses going up and down north and south from the dead point of your position here. Now, he's managed to be able to orchestrate some kind of incursion from two of the larger werewolf clans that are here in Night City from the south working their way north. And you're going to be taking yourselves and moving to meet them. He's going to use some of his own personal forces, including some of his house staff, like the lady in the French maid outfit or something. I don't personally get it, but anyway, he's going to have his personal house staff start orchestrating attacks from the northern side, and you guys are kind of pinched in between. But you're going to work your way that way, and it's going to flood everything from north to south, meeting in the middle from the southern forces there. So, based on all the guesstimation that we have, you have to do some running sweeps of some of these docks and ports and the rest of it. Probably pretty dull work, but given the fact that you guys have a rather terrible track record of being boring, by that I mean not being boring, you're probably going to encounter some trouble right off the bat.
Well, I've got
Okay,
plasma.
so as we get out of the as we get out of the AV, and after hearing that we're gonna have to do some searching, Riv just casually see one of the runes on her gauntlet go shimmer, and then she just chucks her gauntlet and it turns into the golem. It's like, hey, go look.
Right.
And you,
Gom's like, you just hear that shrunk, like that turns over, nods, and just goes, like it's hitting across.
Okay, just imagine for a minute you're in the techno hellscape that is Night City. You just came out of a bar and you're like zeltered out of your mind, and you just see an iron metal construct just rushing through the city.
You go back in the bar and get another drink.
Yeah.
Welcome to Night City.
I came up with a new term, zeltered.
That is legit. They serve those at the Laser Lounge. It's good stuff.
So, and even better is that it doesn't look like your typical golem or your typical robotic force anyway, just because the plates look too heavy. There's a lot of gear work and all the hinges and joints. So it looks quasi ancient just in its own stylization. So you've got old style armor type appearance and that strange sort of brassy bronze element to it. So there's a lot. Nice. So primarily, you can either follow the golem as it seems to be running the searches for you. You're just going to be backing up, moving in forest, kind of keeping at a distance from those docks. Of course, Agent X, you'll probably be doing sweeps.
What's Ivar's danger sense telling him?
It's kind of hovering up 2, 2, and 3.
I got a question.
Roll.
Is the danger sense absolute or relative?
It's relative to him and his perspective, meaning
So-
something is threatening to him. Now, this is where it gets weird, meaning that if there is a overtly threatening area, which is why he can hover so high, but it's not directed at him, he can tell the difference. He just knows that if he makes one wrong step, it goes from like that ambient, there's a threat here, to it's focused on me now. Like, it basically has that capacity, but it's only dealing in reference to him and not to the group.
I meant like when we were noobs. Something that might flag a 5, is that now reading as a 2, 3? Something now, like, as Ivar has become more dangerous, is the thing
The danger,
that, you know,
less danger.
right, like a vampire one-on-one coming after him would read at this level, but now is it like here? And
Yeah,
so when he's
yes,
like,
it does fluctuate.
hey, it's a 3.
Yeah.
Are we like trying to clock
Yeah, because
what is the
it
3
seems like
now?
it's. I always thought it was relative to Ivar's general sense that like it's always going on. He's always kind of aware of his spider senses tingling, and sometimes
It's
they
Ivar's
tingle a
sense.
little. Yeah, it's Ivar sense.
His Ivar tingle.
His Ivar tingle.
That's cool because then you know, as we get more scary,
Yeah.
when something comes
Yeah.
in that's a 5, like that means like that is too much for you to handle.
Yeah.
Well,
If
it's
he
what
peaks,
allows-
that means that the threat is very real and very focused.
And it's
Yeah.
what's allowed Ivar to move, despite his fact that he was once very geriatric. He kind of knew it was coming before it could come, and be like, "How the hell did he like move?"
Yeah,
Well, he does.
Self-limber.
He stretches.
Yeah, so Barrick's got his plasma out, and he's just doing like very standard security sweep, doors and corners.
Yep.
Yes, I've been reading Abaddon's Gate, so I'm like doors and corners, doors and corners.
Yeah, Ivar's turning his true faith on. It's just kind of like this aura
I
about
always
him.
imagine whenever you say that there's like a light switch in your brain that's like, click, oh,
Mhm.
like.
And X Road, basically, sensor sweeps are 19. His audio's +3, so 22 for the audio. And he's just walking in like a hit mark would walk into something. Point blank,
Yeah.
right in the center. Nothing's a threat to him. So you just see him casually strolling through a hellscape or potential hellscape like nothing.
Cat crosses the courtyard.
Yeah, it's the cat crosses the courtyard. And those were his awareness rolls.
Awareness or combat sense? Oh, awareness. Actual
Awareness, because we're
awareness.
not.
Yeah, he's actually rolling awareness. Well, and his numbers are going to be a little bit lower because again, he's rolling in the next. He's rolling in 3.5, so his figures aren't going to be as high.
Oh, I want to roll awareness. Super sensitive.
Go for it. That's pretty much what you guys are here, trying to sniff out nests.
Oh, I
Yeah,
almost did it.
did you see what I wrote in the Night City chat?
I'm getting back to it. Yeah, there's a lot going on, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I'm
like,
trying to keep
my
up with the
God.
chat.
Ken, the community manager.
I'm bouncing all over the place.
Yeah.
So Barrick's going all, 3 shades of vision. He's not aware of what Agent X is able to do, and he's just trying to like not feel intimidated by what he obviously sees as like a Mega Man arm and all his cool sensor arrays. He's trying to like not feel like he's the old guy being pushed out.
Right.
He's not doing a good job of masking that. So he's
I
like,
can
what do
still
I
do
hear?
this.
What do I see?
I don't recall. Do they have some magical abilities that Ivar could possibly sense with occult?
That's the occult.
Repeat that question.
Where everyone's trying to do awareness, Ivar
Thank you, I knew it
doing
was
just
coming.
A general occult to see if he can sense anything magical or anything going on in the occult realms that can help direct the group as well.
Tuvok. Go ahead.
Tim Russ.
Okay. So, what the occult will provide you with is
Digging
a
our
sensibility
gotcha.
as to, is a sensibility to, who and where, they might try and hide, or the easiest places that they might. Because what you're basically using as occult is investigation. Because you're basically going like, I know how they operate, so maybe if we look here. The problem is you don't have a deep understanding of how the docks would work, but you do know that the simple thing is that they're going to try and come in. They will use whatever means necessary to kind of keep themselves going. You're going to want to look for anything that's controlled, and if you roll an awareness after making that check, you can kind of guess what sorts of creatures are going to be running these docks, especially if they have any kind of threat of being supernatural on top of it.
24 for his awareness.
All right. So, to put this completely into perspective, you guys are moving south. You have the golem who's headed up front. It's going down that way. The Night City is to everyone's right for the most part, because you're seeing that man glow, the entirety of it all, just kind of outstretched, because most of the buildings start to tamper down just a bit when you're getting out to that coastline. And you're following the main side roads that go in and throughout various buildings. Not much of residential out here. A lot of more industry, back roads, warehouses, things like that. And it's all very much scattered in a vast labyrinth of interconnected, just interconnected bussing of materials and raw goods and all sorts of things like that. There's even a heavy level of drones and robots that are actually moving in and throughout, because they're having to move a lot of these heavier objects and shifting things to their deployment points. So it's a pretty sophisticated miasma of activity, even though it's happening at night. And what you happen to notice is that there are, whenever you guys get down, you're maybe about half mile, three-quarters of a mile there. At that stretch, you're dealing with this sense that there is more going on, and you start to observe it. The docks that peer out, so you have a road throughway that starts to cut off at the intersection from where you guys landed, or where you guys came in, from that three-quarter mark, and it goes towards that coastline. Once you're there, you have noticed that there's actually activity going on. You have the larger floodlights that are pointed down into the subsections of the various parts of the dock. You have a lot more movement. There seem to be like cybernetic dock workers, because you can see them with the old Russian arms and everything else like that, moving things about. But there are several in there. There are several in the vicinity of that area that don't appear to be moving in ways that you would get unless they were somewhat supernatural. But they aren't showing anything terribly overt. It's also hard to see their faces because they've got usually like some kind of safety glasses on, the caps and the rest of that. So they're sort of obstructed in their it's the movement really and their behavior with how they can function that's giving it kind of away at this point. Of course, whenever you take notice, same thing for you there, Agent X. You're picking up on the fact that you're detecting micro deviations in all of the various movement, and it seems to be focused down there at the dock further east, going out towards the waters. And then Gollum comes back with a mild sensation of something kind of interesting, is more or less the sensation you get.
Interesting.
Yes.
The same direction.
Yeah, from down eastward and near towards those same docks. It looks like you guys have probably found either a nest or a cooperative
Did
group,
your dog
perhaps.
find a stick?
She's gonna call him back now.
Sounds
Back
good.
with the severed arm of the vampire.
Just blood smeared.
Drops it and goes woof woof. Woof
When
And then
you
woof.
call
behind
the
the golem is
golem
an
back,
army.
how does Golem like reattach to its gauntlet?
It comes rushing back towards him. If like if it's the end of the encounter, it'll come rushing back towards him. Just goes leaping into the air and just transforms itself. Yeah, shrinks and becomes less mass and just links right on and reattaches.
One of the things I just realized that after my last level up is that I actually have to tell you, or I wrote it down myself, but which gauntlet I actually throw, because the number of runes I have is actually different per gauntlet. So, for example, I have 6 on my right arm and 4 on my left.
Yep.
And so if I throw the left one, I only have 6 runes that I can technically use at that moment, unless I use the one from the right.
Right.
I just have to be smarter about it.
That would make sense. That would also account for the die rolling, in a way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, each one is a D1.
Yeah.
Or D4, I mean.
Yep.
Kind of does.
I like it.
Cool. So I
All
guess
right.
we're gonna head. I mean, it's 10 o'clock, so I guess we're
Yeah.
about to. We're pausing right as we enter into the danger zone here.
Yep. I was gonna actually ask and be like, if people were feeling a stretch of 30 minutes, or do we want to hold it?
I mean, you could give us 30 minutes, and then we could get a taste that's gonna drive us nuts for an entire week.
Well, I've got a hard stop tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
Well then, I guess that's probably where we're gonna have to leave it there.
But
I think the golem running up with something is a good pause right now.
follow the golem's lead.
Yep. You guys will be heading into the dock area there and trying to sort out where possibly they're being delivered or off-boarded, and figure out what to do next. Most likely, it'll end up becoming some kind of combat encounter for sure. Just because there's just not a chance that they're going to want to be stuck at the docks if you encounter any of the Zamisi there. And as a side note, Void didn't just vanish out of thin air. He was there for a while providing some kind of... It was basically providing some help with Zixus and Tillis, because I forgot to mention this, because everybody kind of got on their own tracks, and we kind of forgot that Void was present. But Zixus and Tillis is, not ancient, not young, and he's going to be controlling these kinds of forces, and he will be trying to find out where, because the way he was assisting you before was controlling the terrain. Now he's going to look for a central heart point where he's going to be manifesting a lot of his chaotic energy and force, or at least trying to mask it. And because he understands how it all works, he might be able to better predict exactly where it's going to show up. So he will remain back at the manor, cooperating with some of Vasil's staff, and see if he can't start getting a much deeper fix as to where Zixus is going to be finding himself.
He's going to reverse engineer how he shows up and look for signals and make patterns and make predictions.
Yeah.
Oh, joy.
Yep, so he's going to try and figure that out, which will probably be the primary lead and cause of any of the next incursions you guys go to once you secure the East Coast. So.
Yay!
Yep. All the while trying to avoid the technocracy on the fly. That'll be interesting. Okay. Well then, I guess that's where we're going to hold it for now. Q. Now, needless to say, man, this was awesome. We have so much activity. Oh, and I was quite spazzed out. I'm like watching this in the corner of my eye, just looking at everything just going up. I'm like, holy crap. Yeah.
I was trying to keep the conversation going.
Yeah, well, and you did a great job. Thanks for everybody who showed up, man. Seriously, we're kicking this off every Thursday, and I'm gonna try and find time eventually. We're also, at least I am. I don't know if anybody's still interested in that, but I'm still doing streams that are gonna be twice a week to kind of broaden the horizon. But if it ain't your thing, it's no big deal. Yeah. Other than that, thanks for showing up. We'll be on next Thursday. I hope everyone has a good night.
See you later.